Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I hope you are all doing well. I'm here knitting my sweater just like last week. And so I thought since I was going to sit down and knit a little bit after I got home from work, I'd go ahead and film my stitch with me. Well, not stitch with me anymore. My craft with me. So today, drop the stitch. Let's fix that. There we go. Oh, now I gotta fix that again. Uno momento here as I fix this stitch I just dropped. There we go. So, I am filming this on Thursday night. I just got home from work. I still haven't changed out of my work outfit that I wore today. This is my, apparently by what I'm told, at work all day today, this is my LL Bean catalog model outfit. So I am in my work attire, and I figured I'd sit down and knit a little bit and have a chat with you. So here we are. It was a very busy day at work today. Lots of meetings, very productive. Hopefully I'm going to have carry over into tonight with the productivity and get lots and lots of stitching and knitting done. I, again, am working on my sweater vest that I have been working on, that I was working on last week during the Craft With Me video. I actually have not touched it since last week's video, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to pull this back out and knit on it, since it is an easy knit while I sit and chat. I have been very productive with my knitting since the actually since yesterday when I filmed my weekly update. I did have a finish on my socks, so that will be in next week's update, and I will show you my sock finish. So I now have another full pair of socks that I'm able to wear around the house. I have not tried them on yet though. Kind of holding off until I can show you on my video. But I So I really want to focus on this sweater before I go ahead and cast on another project, because I have been kind of neglecting this sweater a bit since I have been so focused on the socks in the last couple weeks. So I'm gonna try to get a decent chunk of sweater knitting done this week and this weekend, since it is a 3-day weekend here in the United States. I'm very much looking forward to that. I have lots planned for Monday, the holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'm going to be doing some filming as well as stitching and knitting, because who doesn't want to do that? So that is the consistency of my day off. We'll be doing all of that around the house, maybe a bit of cleaning too. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this row here, and then I'm going to go we're going to take a small break and go grab a drink. So if you are at a good spot to get a drink or a snack, go get one of those. If you're up for that, I'm going to do that here in about 2 seconds, maybe a bit more than 2 seconds. Just going to finish this row. And three more stitches. There we go. Let me go get my coffee and I'll be right back. Okay, have my coffee, have my Kleenex. So a couple things came up in the comments this week that I thought I would go ahead and chat about while we were here chatting. And first off, I just want to say thank you all for the overwhelming support and excitement over my Craft With Me videos. I loved reading about some of you who mentioned what you were currently working on, and either knitting or I think there was maybe a person diamond painting, and of course stitching, and that was a lot of fun to read. And somebody said that they sat down to stitch with me, and when I was knitting, they went ahead and grabbed their knitting, so that was pretty cool too. So lots of fun, and you know, it's just nice to switch it up every once in a while. So of course there will be Stitch With Me's in the future, not necessarily just, it's not always going to be knitting, but a lot of the nights that I come home from work, I have really been just wanting to knit. So that's why lately they have been knitting instead of stitching. So, but it's not always going to be the case. But I know most people like to watch these just because they like the conversation more so than what we're actually doing in the video. and it doesn't matter what we're doing in the video because the people like to listen to the conversation. So today I thought there was a couple things that came up in the comments that I wanted to address. First off, was the question of what kind of stand and frame I use. I know I have mentioned it many times in my videos. And so just want to reiterate again, if you're watching and you still have a question, I use the Lowry stand, and I bought that from soandso.co.uk. It's a stand, and I purchased. And one question that did come up that I've never been asked before, and that which I thought was very good, was when I purchased my Lowry stand, did I incur customs charges as a result of ordering from outside of the United States? Customs charges, or I guess you could say, the fees and such associated with importing into the United States. I have ordered many times. Excuse me as I. Of course, my nose only runs when I sit down to knit with you. All the times that I've ever ordered from Europe for my cross-stitch supplies, which has been many because most of my cross-stitch kits, and of course we all know most of my fabric has come from Europe. I've never once incurred a fee for customs or duty as a result of shipping into the United States. So if you're an American and you have that kind of question about, am I going to get hit with customs? Now, that's me. I'm not saying that that's going to be the case for everybody, but I have personally never been charged, knock on wood, I have never been charged a fee for those services. So just want to throw that out there, as that was a question that I had come up this week. So my frame my stand that I purchased was from so-and-so. It is the Lowry stand. It is and I have pretty much all of the accessories. There's a couple that I do not have. And I do have a video talking about the Lowry stand on my channel. You can go back in through my videos and find that, and I give a complete review on the Lowry stand. My frames that I use on Henry, and I'm currently using for my Jacobean bell pull, are the Omnic Quantum frames. They are from the Omnic Corporation or Omnic Company. They are in Estonia, and all you have to do is Google search Omnic, O-M-A-N-I-K. And I have talked about that many times in my videos as well. So just wanted to throw that out there one more time because I think I get a question about that. Excuse me. On a weekly basis. So just to clarify, I use the Lowry stand and the Omnic frame. Now, the thought that I really wanted to focus on today was the importance of, many new people watch our channels, and I say our meaning Floss too. And it's important to note that, and a lot of people elevate me to a level that I think is unnecessary as far as the level, the advancement of stitching. So like, meaning I'm an expert stitcher or versus a beginner stitcher. I have never felt that way, and I don't feel like I act that way. And I think that is a mentality that I think many of us need to get away from. I think I have always been the type of person that gets, and I know I talked about this in one of my Flossmas videos, that, we are often our biggest critics and our biggest, we can be, I'm not saying all of it, I'm not generalizing, but just, I am generalizing, but just in general, we can be hardest on ourselves. And so I think when it comes to stitching as a hobby, we really need to put into focus that it's a hobby, and that stitching is made to be fun, and whatever level of stitching you are on, even though I don't necessarily like that thought of levels of stitching, or skill levels of stitching, regardless of that, it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be relaxing and enjoyable. And so if there is something that you really want to do or achieve, then put your mind to it and achieve it. And it might take a day, it might take a week, it might take a month, it might take 3 years. But if you just continue to put your mind to it, just like anything, and practice and continue stitching or knitting or whatever your hobby is, you will get there. And I think many people look at me as I'm like this professional stitcher, and they think that they just can never stitch what I stitch. I'm stitching the same things now that I stitched whenever I first started stitching. Henry was the third thing I ever started, close to the third thing I've ever started, and I'm still working on them. And so, and I have always been I've always been a go big or go home kind of person. That's my personality. So I think, we have to put it in our mindset and in our culture that you can achieve anything. I know it's such a cliche, but it's really, you're making X's. And so it's not rocket science. It's not astrophysics. It's a hobby. And so often I get many questions about how can I be more of a stitcher like you, or like other stitchers I watch on FlossTube. And my biggest thing is just, continue doing it, and don't limit yourself based on your mentality. When you put that limit out there, that you say, I can't do that yet, you're never going to be able to do it. And so I think it's important that we say, I can do that, versus I can't do that, or I'm not ready to do that. And maybe you're not ready to do that, and that's okay. But instead of saying, I can't do that, you need to say, I will be ready to do that soon, or put a date on it. I'm going to do that at a certain date, or I'm building myself up to do that. Put a positive spin on things instead of always looking at the negative for I can't. And if you do try something and either it's not for you, or it doesn't work out right and you have to try again, then try again. Or maybe it's not for you and you decide at that time that, okay, I'm not going to do this because I just don't like it. That's perfectly okay. It's a hobby. It's not life or death. So I just wanted to throw that out there again. I know I bring that up a lot on my channel, but I think it's important because, for one thing, I get a lot of comments and questions about that. And so it seems to be that that is the message that continues to need to be heard. And so if that's the case, I'm going to continue preaching it because I think it needs to be heard. It needs, we need to have positivity in our life. And that's what I love so much about the Friday Off the Grid Facebook group is that it's a positive group of Stitchers that are putting out positive thoughts, positive vibes, and are always supporting each other. But to tell you the truth, I have been horrible about being a contributor to my social media accounts lately. So, I need to be better at social media in the future. I think it's just this whole December, just getting back into routine after the holidays, and I'm going to get there. I'm going to stay positive and get there. So, again, I really just want to reiterate that we need to stay positive. We need to always have positive thoughts and positive vibes, and that includes stitching and knitting and all those things. And yeah, like I said, I do always tend to go with the big things right away. I don't tend to do small things. I never have. I've always jumped right in and do, even in all aspects of my life, I've always gone for the hard things or gone for the challenging things or I've always sought out a challenge in my life. And I'm going to continue doing that. And I challenge you to challenge yourself this year. Sounds like a good challenge. So, there you go. Enough of the soapbox. I am getting ready here for a winter storm. 2 winter storms that are coming. Small one and then a larger one. So we will see what is happening. I think we are supposed to, my house is mainly supposed to get rain. But then it's supposed to start at like a high of 50 on Sunday and then drop to a low of 4 Sunday night. That's a big weather temperature difference. So we will see what happens. There's supposed to be a big freeze event that obviously that day because it's going to be raining and then all of a sudden it drops the temperature and it just freezes. So, but Monday is a holiday, so I'm looking forward to that. Don't have to go out in the weather and I can just stay home and stitch. Stitch and knit and do whatever I want to do. Purling momentarily here. Something happened with my camera, so I had to go back and fix it. Anyways, I was saying when something happened with the camera that I think it's important that I'm going back to the other conversation that as individual stitchers, I think it's important that we keep in mind that we're not competing against each other. And so when we're stitching, we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to this stitcher or that stitcher or my floss tube channel versus somebody else's floss tube channel because it's not a competition. We're all out there just improving the quality of cross stitch and needlepoint and knitting and diamond painting, and all these other hobbies out there. And so for us, when we start to compare and rate and uh, mainly compare, but when we start to compare the channel, or not the channels but the stitching, like that's when you really start to like get in your head the negativity, because you might think, oh, my stitching isn't as good as yours, don't look at my back is horrible. It doesn't matter. Your stitching is your stitching, and that's all that matters, because your stitching makes you happy. And so I think that continues to need to be remembered in this hobby, especially in the way social media and society perpetuates that need for, I think, social media often perpetuates that comparison, and it's really like we're really just out there just improving the networking and the availability of our craft. Sorry, another soapbox. But I'm done now. If you watched my Stitch With Me, or if you watched my regular weekly update, you will have seen that my third installment of the Stories of the North patterns went live. It is now available in my Etsy store. You can go check that out. Ginger Gerald Designs on Etsy. Both the pattern is available both as a PDF and a printed pattern, so check that out if you are interested. All three patterns are still available, parts 1, 2, and 3, with 4 and 5 to come in the spring. So please check that out. If you are stitching the patterns, be sure to tag me at Ginger Gerald Designs, ginger.gerald.designs on Etsy. Please be sure to do that so I can follow along and enjoy your progress on your stitching of the patterns, or any of the patterns that I'm working on or that I've designed. I love to see your progress. I want to share your successes with my designs and your creativity of my designs. And I encourage you, if there's creativity that you see of my designs that you want to express, go for it. So that means if you want to change out a color or use a variegated floss instead of the DMC that's called for, I say go for it, and I want to see it and share it with the world. So definitely tag me, Ginger Gerald Designs, on Instagram, ginger.gerald.designs, as well as my regular account at ginger.gerald.stitcher, so that I can enjoy and like your progress, as well as maybe share it out. I have some giveaways in the works on my Instagram business Instagram account, ginger.gerald.designs. So be sure to like and follow me on Instagram at Ginger Gerald Designs. I'm saying that a lot, but I just want to make sure that you all are aware that I have the two separate accounts. I am starting to think about ways for giveaways, and so be sure to be checking that out. You have to be a follower on my Instagram in order to participate and follow and have a chance at those giveaways. And there's going to be lots of fun to be had with that. So make sure you're following along. With that, I'm going to finish this row, and I think we're going to call it quits for the day. I'm going to go change my clothes and get comfortable so I can get some stitching in. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I am certainly going to. And I look forward to seeing all of your updates on Instagram and Flossmas, and your positive and cheerful vibes on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. So with that, I will see you in my next episode, probably on Wednesday, for my Wednesday stitching knitting update. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, wonderful week. If you're in the United States, enjoy your 3-day weekend. If you have off, happy Martin Luther King Day. And don't forget to always be creative. See you later.